Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. I'm Jason, I'll be your host tonight, and with me I have an esteemed lineup. To kick off, he's had a bath this week, so he's smelling lovely. It's Danny the GFP.
Oh dear, I'm still using Lynx 2012. Isn't that good? I stockpile
Jesus.
it.
How many have you got?
Oh, not many now, but I bought a load of them. Like I just spent 175 quid on Tassimo because they dropped the price from 29.99 to 17.50. So I bought
How,
10 cases of 80.
how do you get from Lynx to Tassimo?
Bulk buying, it's the way to go.
Okay. You okay, pal?
I'm all the better for hearing your dulcet tones.
Oh, tidy.
It is.
You're sounding lovely.
Oh, you smell lovely.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, onwards and upwards. Tonight, making his full podcast debut, we have Chimp the Gooner, otherwise known as Neil. How are you, Neil?
Good, Jay. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you on, pal. I've been looking forward to speaking to you. You excited?
I can't wait. I'm ready to spend a couple of hours with you. It's been a dream come true.
I tell you what, Jesus, you have got low expectations of life. Never mind. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this week, mate. So we'll explore those a little later. Next, we have ABW's version of Bully. It's Kris Carpenter.
You cheeky shitbag. Good evening, Welsh Wonder. Are you well?
I'm okay, thanks, Bet. You okay?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. As always, it is a pleasure and an honour to be in your company.
Of course. That's what they all say.
After you've introduced the other guests, can I ask Neil a question about something Welsh-based, Jace?
Hold up, yeah. Why don't you just ask him now?
Neil, what is more, in your photo on your Skype account, there's a picture of you and Aaron Ramsey. Which was better, talking to Davies now or meeting Aaron Ramsey? Both Welsh legends.
I think that's a really unfair question to ask.
Well, Aaron won't hear, so you can lie.
Well, Aaron might hear, and I can't go upsetting him.
Oh.
Can't go upsetting. Don't upset your mates.
Did he ask about Jason when you met him?
Naturally.
I'm not being funny, boys. My mother would rather meet Aaron Ramsey than talk to me. Okay.
My mum wouldn't. She fancies you.
Oh, you can't blame her. She's 80.
Yes, bless
her. In any case, and last but not least, it's the man who's organised the Million Mask March. It's Geoff Arsenal.
Austin Binger's Red and White Army.
How are you, boy?
I'm all right. I'm bang on. I'm going to sing that all night tonight. And at the end, we've got to say, we hate Tottenham. There you go. How you doing? You all right? You good?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks.
You ready to rock and roll tonight?
Yeah, I am actually.
I don't know downbeat tonight. I don't know I'm downbeat. We've all got to be upbeat and, looking forward to the game at the weekend. And
yeah, I'm not being funny. Last night's night. North London derby this weekend. Let's have it. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest there. And I've been looking forward to talking to you boys tonight as well. It's a motley little crew.
I've never seen him so happy. It's making me feel worried.
Well, we got Bully on, haven't we? And we didn't have to pay him.
Arr.
It's magic. It's magic, boys. In any case, let's get straight into it. We played Swansea last Saturday, and we came away with a nice 3-0 win. Very unusual, because they've been a bit of a bogey team for us. Let's straight talk about the game. Kris, your thoughts on the game?
It was good, mate. It was good. We sort of started the game fairly with the intent of getting out there and getting an early start. We were fairly in control of the game, I thought. Yes, Swansea offered a little bit first half, and they had a few near misses. I know there's one we'll talk about in a second, but no, I thought overall it was a fairly accomplished performance. I was pleased to see that the players, you have to excuse the fireworks, there's a lot of prats around here. There was a lot of good performances. Hector Bellerin was once again, probably shows for me why he's one of the best right backs, if not the best right back in the country, if not Europe, in fact, at the moment on current form. Olivier Giroud stepped up to the plate, performed well at a high level. The defence looked solid. Cos getting 2 goals in 2 games, rare for him. And just an all-round pretty accomplished performance. And even Peter Cech, obviously, when he had the saves to make, he made them comfortably, and getting out with a clean sheet is even nicer. We all know how we struggled last year. There wasn't really any signs we were going to struggle the same this year. And when you go away from home, all you really want to do is come home with the points. If you get a clean sheet, it's a bonus. So it's win-win for us, I think.
Yeah, happy days. I thought the same. Geoff, Kris just mentioned Olivier Giroud opening the scoring.
Yeah.
For a guy who's taken quite a lot of stick this season,
Yeah.
early doors, he wasn't getting any luck in front of goal. He's coming back with aplomb, isn't he?
Well, he's just shutting everybody up, mate. And I thought he would because he's the best of a bunch of players out there that we the top players that we can't buy at the moment. So he's the best of a bad bunch, we could say. But listen, he keeps on nicking a goal, and that's fantastic. The Swansea game was it a 2000th goal? Was it? I think he scored, didn't he?
Yeah.
2000th goal. So it's a bit of a monumental thing for him. We softened them up, didn't we? We were totally in control of the game, softened them up, took a while to soften them up, and then we just really, there was only one team ever going to win that. It was a really, really good performance, and the lads done well. Big shout out to Lucas Fabianski, old Flappy, God bless him. Helping us out a little bit, and it was brilliant.
To be fair, you got to give. I think you got to give Giroud credit. He keeps on going. He's had his tough times, but he keeps on going and performing. Neil, I want to come to you now, mate. Last season, Jefferson Montero was a real pain in our necks. On Saturday, Campbell and Bellerin seemed to do a job with him. They had a bit of an understanding and they kept him quiet. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought Joel Campbell was particularly good, actually. Defensively, he was almost better defending than he was going forward, and I think he was actually asked to do that. As you said, Montero gave us an awful time last year, and he's a supremely talented player. He goes left, he goes right, he goes inside, he goes outside. Bellerin matches him with pace. Joel Campbell had the strength, and they were on him 2-on-1, and it really gave us the stability we needed, because everything that Swansea want to do is down that side and it goes through him. So if you can cut off the supply, you're going to have a chance of keeping a clean sheet, which we did.
Yeah, I mean Campbell as well. He wasn't shy in taking a shot, was he?
No, listen, I think he took he almost scored in the first half, but you could see after his goal had gone in, he tried another shot instead of passing it out to Alexis. And I suspect that if his goal hadn't gone in at first, he doesn't take that shot. So confidence is everything with players, and I was fearful that his confidence was just going to be completely and utterly shot. Following sort of the Sheffield Wednesday game, and his last couple of appearances haven't been fantastic, but there is a player in there, no question, and hopefully he's gonna get a chance to prove it now. He's gonna have a run of games.
Well, he was one of a few players that Twitter told us was going to have a nightmare, and we're playing Joel Campbell. What we're going to do? I'd rather play this one there. I'd rather play Bellerin right wing or right midfield, and Debussy right back, because I was scared about Campbell. But it just shows you, doesn't it? Really, I mean, he had a good game, the boy, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt he's got talent. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think it's the mental side of his game, and in all fairness, on Saturday, he showed real mental strength. He showed great discipline, didn't he? And I think if he could show a bit more of that, he may still have a chance. I wouldn't hold my breath in it, but he may still have a chance with the club. You never know.
Well, now's the time. He's got a chance now, and this is the time. It's pardon my French, is shit or bust for him, because he's going to have a run of 4 or 5 games maybe. And if he doesn't do it now, and to be honest with you, I'm really not sure whether he's the quality that we need. I'm being honest. I'd like to see it, because he seems a decent lad. But I'm not sure. But, we might find one, you never know.
He might not be the right quality, but at the moment, he's got a chance to prove that he's worth a place in this squad. We're thin on the ground, so if we've got someone who can come in and score a few goals, defend well, then I'll take him on. I mean, if you look at historically, we've always had 1 or 2 players in our successful years who've come in completely unexpected, scored some vital goals. The one I always think about is Christopher Wray.
Christopher Wray, yeah, blimey.
And he was not exactly a supremely talented player, but boy, did he score some important goals.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's all he has to look is to his left in the middle of the park and look at the example Coquelin set. There's a guy who was out the door basically. He had his chance last season. He's taken it with both hands, and he's just run with it.
What a player that kid's turning out to be. I've got to tell you, hasn't he? Honestly. He's got to be one of the best midfield players in Europe. I mean it, and I'm not overstating him. It's only my opinion. A lot of people might think I'm talking a load of shit, but I watch Arsenal, I watch a lot of other games, and I think the boy's different class.
I couldn't agree more, Geoff. And I think, like myself and Neil were talking earlier on about the the French squad was announced today, and it boggles my mind how Lassana Diarra, remember him, and even Morgan Schneiderlin, I'm not sure how they get in that French squad ahead of Coquelin on current form. I really don't. I mean, everyone was praying that we'd go for Schneiderlin. Oh, we need him. He's an Arsenal player, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't swap Coquelin for Schneiderlin any day of the week now.
He's showing a lot of quality on the ball as well now. People said, he's lacking a little bit of quality, but I think he's improving with every game. You see him last night, a couple of little nifty little turns inside of players and flicking the ball about with the outside of the boot and that. He's really improving. You've got to give credit to the lad, really.
Absolutely. The way I always judge it is what would happen if you put him on the market. Who comes in for him? How much they're going to pay for him? And I suspect it's a top club who's going to pay top money for him. So for me, he's a top player.
He's gone from zero to hero in the space of 12 months, hasn't he? And you've got to admire the boy for that. And he seems to be coming out of his shell again now. The confidence is there. His discipline is magnificent. His concentration levels are out of this world.
He was turning in with the bookings and that. He was turning into like a mini Flamini for the first part of the season, wasn't he? You think, here we go. He's going to get banned after 5 or 6 games because he keeps on picking up bookings.
Yeah, but he did that last season, G. When he came into the side, the first few games, booking, and then he found his stride, and all of a sudden, then his timing was in. I think it takes him a while to get running, and as soon as he's running, his timing is in, his eye is in, and he's there. And it's a great credit to him that what he's achieved so far. I think you're bang on the money when you say he's one of the best midfielders in the country at the moment. He allows us to play. He gives us that solid base at the back that allows us to go forward. Danny.
Yes.
Right, let's get you into this, boyo. Per Mertesacker, free kick, penalty, no penalty.
I think it was, yeah. I'm struggling to remember the game because it's nearly a week ago and my memory isn't what it used to be. But I remember thinking at the time, I think we were lucky and they were unlucky that they... Didn't I do the radio show after this, Kris?
Yeah, I think you did, yes.
Yeah,
yes, you did.
Yeah, I'm sure I said on there that I think that they should have had a penalty and that if it had been the other way around, then we'd have been going penalty because we've had some harsh decisions go for us and against us this season. And I think that's one of the ones where it does balance itself out at the end of the season. I thought Swansea were a little bit unlucky because I'm just looking at the stats. Pass success rate, 84% for us, 85% for them. Fifth possession, they had 53, we had 46.5, so, well, they had 0.5 as well. But then accurate passes, 385 for us, 469 for them, because for quite a while they held out brilliantly. The tackles, we did them on tackles and dribbles, but shots, 14 for us, 7 for them. But I think Shelvey looked good first half, and so did Kim. He looked good to us, and in fact the whole team looked good. I think they were just unlucky, and that goal. We haven't gone on to the Koscielny goal yet, so I'll shut up. But yeah, I think they were. This is why I don't like playing Swansea, and I was saying, I'm glad we beat them. They're the modern day Bolton. Playing white always give us grief, and yeah, I think the game, looking at it, wasn't a 3-0 to us kind of game overall. I think they probably deserved something out of it, but we just kept on going. And lovely to see Giroud scoring again.
Jace, I don't know. What is your declaration? What is your Welsh team?
I'm from just down the road from Swansea. I was born in Swansea.
A Swan then, aren't you? Surely.
No, not really, mate. I'm from Armanford. We hate the Jacks. So, not being funny. Funny enough, I went up to the playoff final when they beat Reading. Because all my mates are Swans fans, and 10 years previous. I was given a tenner when they were about to go bankrupt and so forth. So, as a sort of, I'm not a local lad.
You asked for it back yet?
That's what I was thinking. With fair, interest.
I think I own half the shares in it now. That's £10. No,
You never know. They might offer you Michu in exchange for that tenner.
Jesus, there's a guy who went from 30 million to nothing. But when you look at, they are a local club and what have you. I mean, I always want them to do well. I always do, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a supporter. I just hope they do well. But I look at their story with great pride. Because if you look at that part of the world, there's not a lot of money being invested in it.
It's a success story, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a great success story.
And they haven't done it by doing a Man City or a Chelsea.
If you look at Cardiff City, if you look at sort of a lot of clubs that go up, they nearly bankrupt themselves with debt. And the fans own part of the club. A lot of my mates actually own shares in part of that stuff. Of owning the club, etc. So I'll always have a soft spot for them. I hope they win every single game they play, apart from one.
2.
And that's when they play the Arsenal.
2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we could get them in the cup as well. So let's go 3. But you know what I mean.
We could get him in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
I'm just looking. Michu hasn't even got a squad number.
No, he's
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still. He went on loan to Napoli last season. This is the bloke who 2 years ago scored 18 in 35.
I don't know.
I'm amazed that we never paid £30 million for him.
Oh Jesus!
£3.50 now.
Oh, do you know what? I'd say, it's one of those things, isn't it, lads? I mean, that's the fortunes of football. I'm talking of the fortunes of football. Giroud's first goal, Giroud's opener. Who wants to tell me about it?
I'll jump in if you want. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. No, I've been really impressed with him as a whole and sort of on the grander scale of things. I think he's really stepped up as far as his performances go and his attitude as well. I mean, if you look at sort of a player that's essentially told, Theo Walcott has kind of come in and taken your place. That's enough to sort of finish some people. I know a lot of people were sort of saying that his attitude right? Was he mentally strong enough to come back from this? Was he able to reclaim his place in the squad? And okay, yeah, to a degree, he's kind of done it off of what's the word? Well, luck, I suppose, really, with Theo going down with the injury. But every time he's come onto the pitch, whether it be a substitute or a starter, he's made an impression. His goal last night, that I'm sure we'll come on to, was extremely, extremely well taken. And I just think that from his point of view, the only way that he's going to improve his game is by taking the chances that he gets. The goal that he got it's a sort of goal that apparently we don't score. From a corner, a high sort of header. He really wanted it and he attacked it. And that's one thing that I've really noticed about him since he's been out of the side. When he comes into the side now, it strikes me that he's got a bit more about him, that he's aggressive and he's almost trying to prove that point that all these people saying, well, he's pretty looking, he's got a lovely beard and all this lot. He strikes me now as a player who's starting to get the elbows up and the arse out, as I say on a Sunday morning, where he's putting himself about and he's really making himself an obstacle. And good luck to the lad. He's taken an awful lot of pelters over the years, and for £12 million, I don't think you get many more better than him for £12 million.
Unreal money, £12 million for a centre forward like that. Gets your goal 1 in every 2. That's not bad, is it? Let's be honest. He's underrated. I think he's underrated. Takes a hell of a lot of stick, but the only thing he hasn't got is pace. That's it. Got everything else, doesn't it?
But to be fair, his link-up play is fantastic. I think his link-up play is as good as anybody out there. Some of his passing range and what have you, it reminds me of, this is maybe going over the top, but he reminds me a bit of Bergkamp in the way he lays the ball off.
Stop there. It's all right. You're doing all right. Stop it.
Better off saying it reminds you of young Lenny Henry.
Imagine this though, Jace. You're 0-0 and you've got 20 minutes to go, and you look at your bench and you go, Fellaini or Giroud? I mean, Yeah,
but boys, I look at it this way, okay? 2 seasons ago in the cup final with an extra time, and it's the most delightful back heel to set up Rambo for the winner in the FA Cup final. How many players are capable of doing that in that scenario?
Soft touch awareness, yeah.
Okay, Neil. Koscielny bagging a goal.
It was a funny goal, wasn't it? just a bizarre situation. Especially we should have really thought about that was going to happen with Wukash in goal. I don't think it was a foul. I'll say it right now. I don't think it was a foul at all. I thought it was appalling goalkeeping. I thought it was typical Fabianski. And he stuck it in. I mean, it was a very unexciting goal, a very bizarre goal, because all the players looked around at the referee, whereas we're expecting some sort of whistle, and he pointed to the centre half. So it was a strange all round, that one.
I think this is one of his best. I'm just having a quick look on the Wikipedia to see if it's his second goal. He's got 2 goals in 11 games this season. In his other seasons, for us, he's got 3-3, 4, 3-3, and then his last season for Tours, I think that might have been in Ligue 2, as the French say. He got 6 in 39, so he's no stranger to a goal. And I thought the way that he celebrated his goals reminds me a little bit of Tony Adams, wearing 6 on his back with the captain's armband on. Did he have the captain's armband on?
No.
No. Oh, no, I'm just looking at a picture now of him on Wikipedia. There you go. It bowled me a googly there. In fact, that might not even be a captain's armband. That's one of the stupid stripes we have on. But just the way that he was shaking his fist and, come on! I thought, that's what we need, a little bit of passion at the back. So it was really good to see. And I think this season he could get quite a few more goals, because that used to be the Arsenal way, didn't it? Send up Keown, Adams, Bold, and
near post flick on.
That's it. That's the one. In fact, I was doing a Twitch earlier today playing Forza, and I was on about some of my favourite European games. And I said one of the favourite ones was the one against Sampdoria, where Stevie Bold jumped up, got 2 goals against Sampdoria in this cup semi-final in, I think, '94. That's what we need. That's what our centre backs are quite famous for, apart from being brilliant and not conceding goals. Is scoring those headers. Brilliant. It's lovely to see.
I'm still trying to work out. I'm searching Google. Who is Sampdoria?
Sampdoria. Oh, hello. I've been done.
They're like the pound stretcher version
Sampdoria.
of Sampdoria. Yeah.
There's no way, I know Sampdoria.
Cheap knockoff.
They're in the same place as Genoa.
Yeah.
At least I didn't say Fiorentina. I always get Sampdoria and Fiorentina mixed up.
Oh God!
I know they're both playing blue.
Does Apcom play for him as well?
Hopefully, I've heard there's a rumour he's on his way.
Oh Christ, God help us. Well, in any case, Joel Campbell's goal, boys. Coolly taken.
Took it well, didn't he, the lad? Fair play to him.
Yeah, you had a lot of time to think about that. A nice first touch.
Yeah, they're the ones that are difficult though. When you got a load of time, you could scuff it, couldn't you? That could have ended up over the. Well, it might have still been flying over the bridge now.
Say one thing about Joel Campbell as well and his overall performance is that a lot of people have written the kid off before he's properly had a chance. And I know there's rumours of, does he really want it enough? Is his attitude right? All this. I may be completely wrong on this, but for my money, yes, there's no secret we were probably trying or happy to let him go in the summer. Welbeck's injury obviously changed that decision. But I don't think the boss would have him anywhere near the squad if he was a bad influence. I don't think he would allow him certainly into the match day squad, let alone the team, if he thought that he wasn't going to give what we wanted on the pitch. And the other thing with
sorry Chris, but there's nobody else at the moment.
Well, no,
it won't be, and that's it.
I was going to say that there's a Iwobi who people were calling for him to start, and I just think that could have killed the kid if he'd have had a shocker. Look at what we did with Bellerin in Dortmund. He's come back stronger for it. Credit to him. But throwing in a kid at this age, I mean, Gnabry would have been the perfect. This would have been, ironically, because I think he scored at Swansea, didn't he, last time out when he made his debut? And this probably would have been the time for him. And it's a shame that he's on loan and not getting played. But in the circumstances, Campbell he did a good job. I'm not sure about the celebration. That was a bit dodgy. But he stepped up. He took his opportunity when he could. He's going to have a massive test Sunday again after last night as well. But and the only other thing to mention with him is that he's very much known as the star man for Costa Rica, playing directly through the middle as a centre forward. And obviously at Arsenal, he's being asked to do a very different job. And people are too quick to criticise players when they don't really know how they best perform. And the truth be told, I think we'd see the best of him if he played through the middle. But at Arsenal, he will never play that position.
I think the problem is, it's so difficult at Arsenal. Can you imagine these young lads that they come through, and when they are, they're given a chance. These players, you can't really see the best of them until they've had half a dozen, 8 games, 10 games, and you're never really going to get that chance at Arsenal unless you come in and you hit the ground running straight away, and like Coquelin did, and it's so hard for him, especially being in that offensive position. It's so difficult because we have got some fantastic offensive players, haven't we? It's hard for the lad to come in, but like I said before, he's got maybe 4 or 5 games now. He's got a right chance, and if he really wants it, and if he has got the ability, he should be able to show that.
Very true, G. I think the only other talking point about the game really is the clean sheet. I know we got away with one with goal miss, a bit of poor defending, check there to save the day, but really nice to get that clean sheet, keep the pressure on Man City, extend the points difference over Chelsea, which is so nice. What did you think of our performance defensively, guys?
Brilliant. That's all.
The clean sheet is the main thing. When we would 3-0 up, I was thinking, so it'd be great. Just keep this clean sheet because it's great. It's great for the defence and great for the goalkeeper. And I must admit, I had a little bit of doubt about Cech because he hadn't played for Chelsea last season. And you're thinking, well, he's a reserve for Chelsea, blah blah blah. But what a difference he's made! I've got to tell you, he's been different class. Even the game last night, no doubt that we'll go on to that later on. But he's just so calming, and he's just different class, isn't he, the lad? Thank God that we got him.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Sorry, go on.
Just looking at whoscored.com, Mesut Ozil's last few games for Arsenal. I'm not going to leave out the Bayern one because that doesn't count because we lost. Against Swansea, 90 minutes, 2 assists, 8.23. Everton, 90 minutes, assist, 8.26. Bayern Munich beat them 2-0, so it does count. 1 goal, 90 minutes, 8.04. Watford, 81 minutes, 2 assists, 8.25. Then he played for Germany against Georgia, man of the match, and got an assist, played the full game. And then against Man United, goal, assist, 75 minutes, 8.8. There you go. That's not nicking anything.
I'm just amazed. I'm amazed, honestly, amazed that there's still people out there that criticise Mesut Ozil. I just cannot believe it.
Imagine what they'd have been like with Bergkamp when he first signed for us.
But guys, let's be honest, okay? You saw Stuart Pearce having a go at him against Bergkamp when he arrived, okay? And the Daily Mail, the last German the Daily Mail backed was Hitler. That's the sort of rag that is, okay? No, it's true, isn't it? Let's be fair, okay? This is the sort of scum.
Jelly Jace, you're in charge. You got to lead us politely.
Yeah, but it's click and bait journalism. For all their platitudes, Mesut Ozil does it on the pitch. Mesut Ozil's won a World Cup. Mesut Ozil's won 2 FA Cups. He's won all over Europe.
And the Emirates Cup.
And the Emirates Cup, the big one.
Don't forget, that's the biggie.
What's pathetic is the fact that he's been playing out of his skin for the last 5-6 games, assists and everything every week. And as soon as Arsenal take a battering like they did last night, they couldn't wait to pop that article, which no doubt they'd had half written for weeks.
just sitting there waiting to be published.
Literally, they probably went to 2 or 3-0. They said, right, guys, we can get this out. Let's finish it off. And as soon as final whistle, it was like, right, let's get it online and get some clicks.
But let's be fair, okay? They've got that ready. That's all they're going to do is fill in a couple of blank spaces. It's exactly the same as Piers Morgan. I've got to get this tweet out now.
I can't believe as well. I can't believe our very own John Cross gave him a 4 for last part performance.
He was running around more than almost anybody. He was everywhere. He tried his hardest.
I think he was one of the best players on the pitch. I really do.
Yeah,
I was surprised that Cross did that, and I was kind of hoping that he didn't do that to almost just get a reaction from the Arsenal fans, and I have a horrible feeling he might have done.
But let's be honest, that's what that game's all about. You can take it to heart, or you can ignore it. I got to be honest here, I don't read any of these newspapers. I can't be bothered.
It's 4 though.
Yeah, but
madness, isn't it?
It's just lunacy, though, isn't it? It's click and bait journalism, boys, and it's beyond belief. I mean, to be fair to Mesut, he's been fabulous recently.
And if you'd have done nothing, then the standard score is a 5 for doing nothing. And then if you get sent off or you concede a penalty, then you maybe lose it down to a 4. At the very least, last night you should have got a 6. And that's if you're being mean. Personally, I'd have given him a 7. In fact, Opta, I'll go and have a look. Opta gave him a 6.5.
He created quite a bit last night. He worked hard. But anyway, we need to get on to the Bayern game. I suppose that's all I'm going to say is, if you look at, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but if you look at the difference in quality of a goalkeeper now, and it's no disrespect to Ospina, he's not my favourite player by a long, long chalk, but Peter Cech is just like 10 levels above, and we really, we have a bit of solidity at the back. Unfortunately, we didn't have much solidity at the back last night, did we? Bayern Munich. We got humped, lads. We got absolutely humped. I'm actually sitting on a ring. Okay, I feel that
sore
bad.
bum.
Yeah, I have. Before we talk about they got one early. The first goal, no pressure on the ball whatsoever. Mind you, Owen Hargreaves, you're a joke. It was pathetic watching that last night. But he was right in the fact of a lack of pressing led to the first goal. Kris.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to say, and you know who I'm pointing the finger at.
You're going to have a little dig at our Spanish magician, aren't you?
I'm going to more than a little dig at him later. No, but hear me out now, because part of the reason is he's been fabulous recently. He's been playing out of his skin. The guy is an ultimately talented player. But last night, there's 2 goals where he's not made enough of an effort, in my opinion. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love Santi, and I don't hide away from that fact. But no player is above criticism, and yeah, for my money, he's got to be taking that chance, 100%. The one thing I would say is, even if he does, I still think we're well and truly beaten in that game. That doesn't excuse it, of course, but it's something to mention. But
the lack of pressing,
yeah,
from him.
Do you know what? The truth be told, and again, I'm much the same as Geoff on this one, in that I'm fully behind the manager and his decisions, and he knows far more than I will ever even be able to read, let alone learn. But I do think he made an error in the team selection last night. Now, I'm not saying that a Mathieu Flamini, for example, would have been the chariot sort of riding to save us all, or on a chariot riding in to save us all, but I just felt that a player like Santi Cazorla last night, it wasn't the type of game for him. He plays brilliantly when he's with Coquelin, and he can pick the ball up in those deep areas and start attacks. But really, last night was a game where we needed to sit in, we needed to dig in, and I just felt that his lack of sort of physical presence didn't help us. Bayern Munich were always going to press us. As soon as we got the ball, they were going to be all over us last night, and I didn't think it was just the right game for Santi. That being said, I say it's really hard, because would Flamini have done any different a job? Obviously, if you had a fit Jack Wilshere, a fit Aaron Ramsey, I think they probably would have done a very good job last night. Would Flamini? I'm not sure, but it was tough. Certainly one of the goals, I think it was Alaba's, where there was just no attempt to press the ball at all. That one was really a real glaring error, and Coquelin can't do it all. You can't just play with 2 holders, even if one is a deep-lying creative playmaker, which is essentially what Santi is. You can't just say to Coquelin, right, you do all the tackling and I'll just pick up the ball from deep. You've both got to put yourselves about in those kind of games. You can get away with it against a lesser side. You can't get away with it against probably the best side in the world.
But I mean, the first goal as well, I can't remember. Is it Coleman? I can't remember who put the cross in. But
it was Thiago Alcantara.
Right.
The little chip over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, Gabriel has lost Lewandowski. It was all a bit of a shambles, really, wasn't it? And the annoyance, I suppose, from my perspective is, I thought at home, and I know it's different going out there. You got to take that into account. I thought Cazorla was excellent at the Emirates against them. I thought he really put a shift in. He closed down. He was very disciplined. The stuff that I thought he was weak at that game, I was tipping my hat to him, because I thought he did a magnificent job. But again, I suppose a lot of our players didn't turn up last night. Geoff, painful night at the office, mate.
I'll tell you what it was. Tell you how I saw it, right? Sometimes you'll go and play against a team with that much quality, that much world-class players, world-class coach in a lovely stadium like they've got, and if they click like they did last night, sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say, mate, they were just too good for us. And, the quality, the passing, I mean, it resembled our 20-minute spell in the Man United game, the 3-0. I mean, they couldn't live with us. And once a team is on that kind of form, it's so difficult. It's so difficult if you get too close to them. They just ping it round you, and they're just playing little triangles around you. They look like they had a point to prove last night, Bayern, after the the game at the Emirates. And we've got to take credit for that now as well, beating them at the Emirates, because I tell you now, they're not going to get beat too many times this year. And now Bayern are definitely, I think they're one of the top 2 teams in the world, the best, and sometimes you just got to realise that you got to remember we had, even if we had 4 or 5 players back in the team, I still don't think it would have made a difference to the result. Once you get a team that are like that on that particular night, and they're showing that form, there's really not a lot you can do about it, honestly. And to be honest with you, after it went to 3-0, although it was, I don't know, it might be me, I might be a little bit weird, but we was 3-0 down, and I thought, oh, okay, that's it, it's all over. We ain't going to win the game. I started to enjoy the game. I don't know why. I started to enjoy it a bit more, because we just seemed to, we was 3-0 down, but what I liked about it was we still continued to play. We continued to play. If it was a Mourinho team or a Benitez team, they'd have got them in at half-time and said, right, this is it, 3-0. We don't want no more goals. We close the game out. Otherwise, it's going to get embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. But we never. We went out there. We still continued to try and attack and play. And we had 4 or 5 players up pitch for some of them for the last 20 minutes of the game. And I think it was a credit to the team. And I thought, you know what? I apart from the goals, and I think the 5-1 was, I think it was a little bit flattering, if you get what I mean. I really do. I think it was. A lot of fans have been saying, "Oh, we was absolutely." Well, of course, the scoreline tells you that, but I don't see it that way. I think there was a lot of positives to be taken out of that game. I think there's a few players that played very well. I mean, I think Monreal played well. There was a lot of players that had a right good game, and they'll learn from that. They'll learn from that experience, definitely.
To be fair, I mean, we did create chances. Mesut Ozil's disallowed goal, Neil, to me, it had been given initially, and it looked as if the home team and those big German superstars influenced the referee's decision, or the guy behind the sticks, whatever his name is, Reg.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
With his wand.
Yeah. Well, how did you see it, mate?
The ref had given it, so it was the magic wand man behind the goal, and the more you watch it, the more certain that Neuer basically told him that's handball and you're going to give it. I'm not sure if that's given if it's at the Emirates. I think it's at the Emirates as a goal, but I think with that crowd behind him and Neuer telling him, he was always going to press his little button.
The one thing I find about this is, okay, he's hitting him with his shoulder, right? You don't see a penalty given if a defender hits the ball with his shoulder. And that's my annoyance with it. Okay, let's be honest. The Chavs, Bayern, they're the sort of teams that surround the referee and they go for it. Are we a little weak in not doing that and not trying to put pressure on the referee?
Yes, definitely. I think Kris and I had this conversation on the radio show last Tuesday, Wednesday, after the Sheffield Wednesday game, and we were talking about the tackle on Alex Iwobi from Sam Hutchinson. And I think we all agreed at the time that if we had stronger players, if we had have had an old school Chelsea side, you would have had the Terrys and the Lampards all surrounding the referees, or Uniteds with the Ferdinands and the Van Nistelrooys, they're all surrounding the referee, telling him that's a red card, you should be sending him off. And we have the odd player going to tap a Wobie on the back to make sure he's all right. We need to be a bit tougher. And I'm not looking for cheating and I'm not looking for bullying, but I think we need to do what other good, successful teams do, which is make the referee make some decisions.
Can I Sorry, Jess. Can I just read you something about the? This is really, really boring, but there's just one quick sentence I want to read you about the laws of the game with regards to handball. And apparently, the referee interpretation rule in the FIFA handbook states that simply touching the ball with an arm or hand does not necessarily result in handball. The interesting bit here is it says it notes that the ball must be intentionally touched by the player's arm or hand. If the ball bounces up and hits a player's hand unintentionally, it is not handball. Now, I would argue that although I felt personally Mesut probably could have headed it, is my personal opinion, but when he didn't head it, I would suggest that he purely leant in with his body towards the ball, and if anything, it inadvertently hit his shoulder. I don't think it's like he's actually extended his arm to push the ball into the net. So at the time, I was like, handball, that's it. But looking back on it, with that rule...
I would agree with that. I'd agree, but Jace's point at the start was so right. How many times have you seen a defender use the top of his arm and the referee runs away pointing to the top of his arm, saying it's not his hand, it's the top of his arm, and
collarbone,
it's
isn't it? Yeah,
exactly the same.
And none of those replays were. There was only the one replay, wasn't there, where it was very, very hastily stopped, and it's kind of a bit blurry. You don't really. There is. I think what we have to say in the interest of balance is there is clearly a movement of the upper body towards the arm.
That's what did it.
But I think he's trying. I think you're right, Geoff, and I think what he's trying to do. I think Carl was it Carl put it out on the radio show last night. He was almost trying to do what what's his face used to do, Ronaldinho, almost like playing the pass with the chest, sort of throwing his chest into it, and it just.
You're all doing the movement at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone at home sort of doing that thrusting motion. Oh, that sounds wrong, but
Jesus.
It was.
The thing is, though, you're right. Though you're not really going to get them decisions away at Bayern, are you? You're not going to expect it.
Especially not with
the officials crumbled, lads. The officials crumbled, okay? And all of a sudden, I mean, the one thing that gets me about that whole thing, I know, okay, they're putting pressure on the referee. Where is the leadership, in our team, which says, hold up here, this could go wrong. You got to have somebody watching the referee. You know what's happening. It happened with Gabriel against Chelsea, where Santi's captain for the day. And I don't mean this to be a Santi bashing exercise. I genuinely don't. He's not an exuberant, a forceful character in that way. But, nobody's keeping an eye on these things. And you need somebody with a bit of nous to sort of say, well, okay, we've had to pay 3 points for not keeping an eye on what's going on previously this season. There was nobody there to sort of try to get in to sort of put the other argument across, and that does concern me.
I don't think we have a lot of it in the squad, which is the problem. You talk about the Gabriel's incident. If that was, I don't want to keep harping on about the old boys, but somebody like Keown, if he had taken that tackle, he'd just switch with Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell go, I've got this.
Yeah.
You don't see the other centre half saying, do you know what, go and cool off for a minute, I'm going to take him. That's the big problem. You haven't got anybody in the pitch who's going to go and have that quiet word with the referee. The only person in that squad, and I know I'm probably really biased with it, is Jack, because he's got a mouth on him.
Yeah.
Does he use it in the right way? Not always, no. But he's the only one who's got, dare I say, the cojones to go up to the referee and say, you need to get a hold of this, because Per's not going to do it. No. Santi's certainly not going to do it, and Arteta's never there to do it. So we're running out of numbers.
Give you an example, Jace, as well. This might be one that the listeners have seen. You might have seen it yourself. But in the Roma Leverkusen game, the score is 2-1 at the time, and Roma are pushing forward for a third. I think it was 2-1. They're pushing forward for a third goal, and Mohamed Salah has basically got a tap in after a goalkeeper saved, and he's racing in on goal, and the centre back Omir Toprak basically just shoves him and just 2 hands on his back and pushes him to the floor, which means Salah essentially can't get to the ball with an open net from 2 yards. Every single Roma player, bar our good friend Wojciech, are at the referee. Now, don't get me wrong, there was 3 or 4 clowns asking for a red card, and I cannot bear that. It does my head in. But every single one of their players was clearly, veins were out in the neck, eyes were bulging. It was like, have you seen what has just happened to our player? And I don't think the referee certainly didn't give it straight away. But as soon as those Roma players were in his face and were all sort of around going, look, our player is being shoved here, and it was a clear goal, penalty, red card, decision is right. So it's a fine line between respect for officials, which you've got to give, and like Neil says there, having a leader on the pitch that is going to go up and say, look, I'm going to sort this out. The referee is going to get the right decision made here.
It's just an issue within the squad at the moment, isn't it? We've got to be a little bit smarter, a little bit more streetwise when it comes to officials. And I'm not saying, same as Neil now, I'm not saying cheat, I'm not saying undue influence, but we've got to protect ourselves, and we don't seem to do it. I'm not going to go through all their goals. That was painful.
How about a few of the stats, Jace?
Danny, fire away.
Right. People giving Ozil, like Geoff was saying, they're giving grief. Top 5 pass complete percentage rates last night. Alonso 96, Boateng 96, Ozil 94, Martinez 94, Koeman 93. So there you go. That alone just shows how much of an influence he had in the game. But then you have a look at the other stats, like possession, 34% to us. Pass success rate, we only had 78% to their 91. Shots, 23 for them, 7 for us. On target, we had 2, they had 13. I mean, Czech had a very busy game. Off target, 3-5. Corners, they had 9 to our 1. And passes, we had 266 successful out of 339. And then, so that was... they had 683 successful out of 749. Just every single part of the game, they've just dominated. And I think one of the most impressive players of the night was, apart from Costa, was just brilliant as usual. And I think Lewandowski just shows how jammy he is at the moment. Falls over backwards, ball hits him on the back of the head and it goes in. But that Kingsley Coman, what a player. I mean, this is one of the players that Kris recently picked out on his pod, saying it's one to watch. And I think last night showed what an excellent player he is. And he was all over the place. I don't really like his haircut, and even their fullbacks were just absolutely stunning. But one thing that I was a little bit annoyed about was that the Mertesacker didn't have a go at his World Cup winning teammates a little bit more. Should have been right at him, but he seemed like he was there doing his job. But other than doing that, there was I don't know. I mean, it must be such an intimidating atmosphere being there against one of the world's best teams.
To be honest with you, Dan, I don't buy that. I mean, Mertesacker's passionate, but he's not that type of guy, is he?
He was walking off at half time, almost arm in arm with Lahm.
Yeah, look, they've played together a long time, not being.
Should have put a Chinese burn on him.
I've played against mates where played rugby against somebody who hit 7 bells out of each other, and you're walking off arm in arm at half time that way.
That's because you've got their testicles in your pocket.
Arm in arm.
I played with Philip Lahm. Then I was going to say
arm in arm with Lahm is a decent.
Lovely.
Arm in arm with Lahm at Armenford.
There's a German podcast waiting to be made.
Oh God, help us.
I don't think we was that bad, though. Honestly, it might be me. I don't think we was that bad. It was just the first goal killed us. If we'd held out for like 30, 35 minutes, and the thing is with them with a Pep Guardiola team, they're going to pressure really, really high, and that's why he played Santi, because you have got to have someone in there. Because we're always going to try and play it out. They know that anyway. Yeah. We can only really play one way. We never just ping it out and bypass it. Although we did last night, we had to at the stages, But if we can get through that first 30 minutes of the pressing, because they run out of steam a little bit. They generally do. All teams generally do run out of a little bit of steam. We used to do it to teams. Remember, we used to just blitz teams in the first 15, 20 minutes of a game, go 1 and 2-0 up, and then the game was cut and dried and done.
Like we did against Bayern last time.
A similar thing happened last night, but it happened to us. It's just all about, we made a mistake for the first goal. That really put us on the back foot, and you could feel the confidence drain away, a little bit, rather than if we'd have got past that 30-minute mark, we'd have gained in confidence. And if you get past that 30-minute mark and they start slowing down a little bit, as you saw, we started getting our game together and we was a little bit more offensive. And we could have scored another couple of goals, let's be honest.
But the thing that... Oh, go on, Jace.
Sorry, guys. I mean, the one thing that struck me about last night, I thought Bayern were magnificent, okay? Let's make no bones about it. They were magnificent, right? I'm not ashamed that our Arsenal side lost to that. I'm disappointed in the way we pressed. I am disappointed that I think we could have been a bit more disciplined, and I think we could have been pardon me, a bit more industrious in the way we took on our defensive duties. You know, there are times this season when we've been so effective without the ball. We've been as good as without the ball as we are with the ball. Last night we weren't, but having said all that, we created chances last night. And, you know, Olivier Giroud, magnificent goal. Okay, the game's done. Right? We've lost the game by half time. But, you know, we've all seen strange things happen in football. Okay, now this is Santi bashing. The magnificent 1-2 to get through on goal. Should he have done better? Or is that a world-class save by Manuel Neuer? And the one from the cross, it kind of reeks of the same old story. You know, he's in front of goal. He's got the opportunity. Bosh, it's row X.
Well, he got the lowest rating on the pitch last night with Campbell of 5.9.
I think that's harsh. I think you're harsh.
Sorry, G. Sorry, G.
Dear, it's kicking off.
I'm not having that. He was poor last night. 2 goals. His lack of defensive effort led to 2 goals. I mean, the shot by Alaba, okay, it was a screamer. But come on, you can't leave a guy with that much quality have that much time and that much space with the ball. You can't.
I mean, for a left-back to get a goal and an assist in a game is just almost unheard of in top-flight football.
Exactly. You know,
I can't remember the last time. Then someone's going to put me 10 now, but I can't think of one.
But again, we've been speaking about this, the lack of goal threat from Santi Cazorla for a long time now. Okay? You know, he's been magnificent the last few weeks. He really has. You're not going to get any criticism in the last few weeks from me of him. But last night, it kind of goes back to bad Santi. And, you know, I mean...
the cinemas near you at Christmas.
Yeah. He had 2 chances last night.
Yeah.
The first one was fantastic football play to get him in. It happened very, very quickly. All of a sudden, because it just happened quickly. I was watching it, you know. Because you imagine what it was like on the pitch. Bomb. He's in front of goal. He's got a great big German standing in front of him, right? And he's just, you know, and he's not a finisher. He's never going to score you loads of goals.
A couple of seasons ago, G, okay, when he first came to us, he banged in a number of them.
16, wasn't it?
I mean, and I'll give you an example. The goal, I think it's 2 seasons ago against Liverpool, where he's hit the crossbar or the side woodwork, and he's volleyed it in. It was a magnificent finish. You know, the guy can do it. He's got all the skill in the world. He really has. You know, this is the reason I'm so harsh on the guy. He really is one of those talents, and yet, you know, when it comes to the crunch, can you rely on him?
And with regards to his defensive stuff there, I think what I was doing last night, one thing they had to do, they had to keep compact and they had to keep shape. And by doing that, you know, Bayern Munich, they had loads, they was more or less conceding possession up until just, you know, midway through our half. And then once they get into midway through, then we start pressing a little bit. The problem is but Bayern Munich had to try and draw you out. They'll pass it out of the back, them little triangles, and they try and draw you out, little spaces in behind where you've got Muller coming in from the sides and Coman coming in from the other side. And you know, they've got so many quality players that in a normal game, you haven't got that quality player that they can pass the ball in behind you and pass a threadler ball through. But Alcantara last night, it was just a genius. When you got players like that and you don't press the ball, sometimes you don't press the ball because you don't want to go too close to him because he'll just ping it in behind you and there's great big holes behind you. So I think they were just trying to keep shape so they couldn't get behind. But unfortunately, they got so many world-class players that they did us anyway.
Yeah. I think I'm a massive Arsene Wenger fan, for the record. But I think what one criticism is that sometimes he doesn't pick a side to battle against the opposition in the right way sometimes. And I think Kris mentioned this earlier, that I think for this game we needed to pick a side that's full of players who can play without the ball, where we knew we were only going to have maybe 30% at the most of possession, and someone like Santi works when we are the team with the possession. So we could have probably done, dare I say, with maybe a Flamini type. I mean, someone like Aaron Ramsey's perfect on that night because he's got an engine. He can go all day, all night. But maybe Flamini would have been better without the ball than Santi. Santi looked to me tired, which is a problem because he's not going to get a rest now because we've got no players left. But I certainly think we could probably have selected, as I say, players who are better without the ball.
We didn't have anybody. That's the problem. We didn't really have anybody left, and I don't think you can put Flamini in there amongst all those players. You imagine him receiving the ball because he was we would have been under so much pressure. Yeah. He'd have just he'd have fell over.
I think it's fair to say as well on Santi's, not so much defence. I mean, just to play devil's advocate, if you will. You mentioned that game, Jason, when he scored against Liverpool, and every right, you're absolutely bang on. He can hit a ball, but I think it's only fair to make mention that he was playing a very different role at the time. He was playing sort of left of the three.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that at all. Okay, as a professional footballer, regardless of where you play on the pitch. Okay, the game is about scoring goals. Okay, and he's done it before. What's the difference now? I mean, it's 2 seasons now. I think that's
the only sort of issue I have with the argument about his goal scoring return is that I think that his role when he first came to the club, when he was a fairly creative and decent scoring record player at Malaga, to come into Arsenal, and he played that role really well. And then we signed Ozil, and by default almost he ended up in this role with Coquelin. And I just think that maybe he's being told by the manager, look, your game is not to score goals. Your game is all about creation. I mean, granted,
whoa, stop. Arsene Wenger is not telling anybody. He's not telling anybody your game is not to score goals. Okay,
I phrased that incorrectly, but you know what I mean. I just think that
you're poking the dragon. Careful.
When you play the system that we're playing, those front three behind the one are the ones you really are looking for the goals. I mean, nobody's bashing Coquelin for not getting goals.
That's
and
your main
I'm
goal.
not
that's
saying
your main goal threat. That's your main
Jace, what you got? What you got?
I just want to finish this point. I do apologise. I'll let you straight back in, G. But my point is not the fact that I expect Santi Cazorla to grab 10 goals a season. I don't, okay? But
3 or 4.
When he's having X amounts of shots and none of them hitting the target, okay, then I got an issue. And this is my problem. It's not the fact of, okay, he doesn't get 10 goals a season. He never hits the bloody target. He just doesn't.
It's time to worry when they have to supply the people behind the goals with protective equipment. That's when you know you're in trouble.
And what position does Alaba play?
Left back.
Oh, Alaba plays wherever he wants.
Yeah, but there you go. Sorry, G, come back in. I do apologise.
No, what you see, I mean, he was comparing a little bit, with his first couple of seasons at Arsenal when he bagged a few goals. But what you got to remember is he's playing 40 metres deeper now than what he was them days. And that's a big thing. You can't, he's not on the pitch. He's on the pitch, like Kris said, to create, and it gives us that balance in the middle. That's what we didn't have last night. We didn't have a lot of balance, did we? We was a little bit all over the place defensively.
I thought we lacked athleticism as well.
Yeah. We last night was one of those games where we, I'm not 100% convinced by Aaron on the right side of midfield, although that's an argument for another day. But we missed his engine and his drive last night, and I think what you would have seen last night had you have had and it's not a knock on Joel Campbell because the lad's only just literally come into the side, but what you would have had with Aaron Ramsey last night is that I think he's an intelligent enough player to know that we were getting overrun, and he would have tucked in with Santi and with Coquelin and made it a 3, whereas Joel Campbell was really more worried about protecting Debussy, which obviously, that's his job. But I don't think he's as intelligent enough or indeed mixed into the team enough to know what Aaron Ramsey would have known last night, in that, no, my job really is get in and cover these two that are getting overrun in the midfield.
Neil, let's bring you in. What do you think about a lot of people I saw on Twitter last night, again, slating Debussy? What do you reckon about that?
I think he was left very, very open. I think it's hard to say. He didn't have his best game. He's desperately short of match practice. I felt for him last night. I mean, nobody wants to be thrown into a game against Bayern Munich, do they? I don't think he was, as I say, didn't have his best game by a million miles, but I don't think anyone did. I think Joel Campbell left them a little bit exposed, to be honest. They were getting so overrun in midfield. That was the problem. Both their fullbacks played as midfielders, so that's why we couldn't cope with the numbers. So I don't think it would have mattered if you had Bellerin in there or Koscielny. I don't think it makes any difference. We were going to get overrun all night last night, no matter which 11 we put out.
You know, like games against like a Guardiola team, because you know exactly how they're going to play, the same as everyone knows how we're going to play. But when they've got that quality, I mean, the Barcelona games 3 and 4 and 5 years ago, different class, and you just knew what they was going to do. I went to all the home and away, and you just knew they just pressed so high, and unless you've got, the proper quality in the middle of the park that can get the ball down, look up and ping it into an Arsenal player, sometimes you know you're going to get stuck. And because they rob you so high up the pitch, and they've got people like Lewandowski and that, they're going to create chances. What I would do personally, for the first 20, 25 minutes against these teams, ping it, bang, hit the corner flags. But just keep the ball away from our third of the pitch. Let them keep on running after it, give them the ball, defend our half, and just keep on pinging it, sending it back straight where it come from. Let them run out of steam for a little bit, and then don't concede a goal. And if you don't concede a goal, you give yourself a chance of getting in the game. I don't see why. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to compromise on the way he plays. I understand that, but sometimes I understand why people criticise him. And in games like that, against a team when you know they've got better players than you, I think that's what we should do.
But this is the thing. We didn't disrupt them at all, did we? And they just dominated. They didn't miss a step.
Wouldn't you be a little bit worried if you went there and everyone was going on about every team, on average this season, every home game, Bayern have scored 5.
Jesus.
Under that pressure. And then you think, oh, fuck, we've only got to let in 5. I mean, I'm not annoyed. I mean, normally I like to have a bit of a rant, but I'm not annoyed at all, because I think if we're out of the League Cup, and I think if we're out of the Champions League, which all Olympiacos need is 1 point against us, or Bayern, and then they're through. And then I just don't want to be in the UEFA Cup either.
Okay, now you've brought this up.
Yeah, I just don't want to be in it. I don't want to be. We're not going to win it. I don't want to be. Oh, did you hear that? That was Carpenter giving me that angry look, because I said I don't want to be in it because we're not going to win it. We can't win it. We showed last night we cannot win this at all.
Nothing's lost.
So I don't want to be in it.
Danny, nothing's lost yet.
You're right. Nothing is lost.
Play
Apart from my sanity.
You play sport to compete. Okay, and as much as we got humped last night, and we got bent over the table, right?
That's why you're sitting on your rubber ring.
Hey, we've still taken 3 points out of a possible 6 against that.
One thing no one has brought up yet is the reason why we beat them 2-0 in the last game was the counter-attacking of Theo Walcott. They couldn't cope with his pace. So they've already they didn't play the same team or the same formation as they did last time, did they? I think last time they played 2 in holding midfield.
Good point.
This time they played a completely different game.
They played a 4-2-4 last night. They had revenge. I said in our group before the game, I said this is going to go one of 2 ways. Neil will tell you this. I said it will go. We will either nick a result, i.e., a close fought win or a close draw, or we will. Forgive the phrase, shit the bed and get absolutely battered. There was never going to be that was a close 2-2. Oh, that was a narrow 1-1. It was always going to be one or the other. And they looked like a side from that first goal. And you saw Per's face that they were on a mission. And you mentioned that home record. I mean, at the risk of boring people, the last home games in all competitions: 5-0 Hamburg, 5-0, 3-0 Leverkusen, 2-1 Augsburg, 5-1 Wolfsburg, 5-0 Zagreb, 5-1 Dortmund, 4-0 Cologne, 5-1 Arsenal. It's not bad, is it?
I mean, normally, go on, Neil. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that I suspect that you'll look back at our victory in the Emirates and people go, bloody hell, that was a result.
Yeah.
Normally, I'd say I'd counter that and say, well, hold on a minute. If they had their players out like Lahm, Muller, Costa,
9 players out,
yeah. But then, did you see the fucking bench that they had last night?
They brought Vidal on just as a make way.
Absolutely scary.
Who did we have? We brought a Wobie on. He didn't even know which way to face.
That's what I'm saying to you. They are really 2 or 3 years in front of us.
That's why I'm not annoyed.
In development, aren't they?
No, this is the thing, Geoff. Okay, I mean, we'll come on to it a bit later. We got a talking point around Rosicki, Flamini, and etc. But for me, you talk about Schneidling not adding anything to us. I'd have thought, if you go out there with Schneidling and Coughlin alongside each other, you're looking a bit sharper. If you got Ramsey on the right as well, then you've got some engines there. Then okay. Schneidling may not be the quality of Thiago or whatever, but you've got a bit more of a chance. And I still think we missed a trick in the summer. Whether that's proven to be, only the end of the season will tell. But I think it's a bit of an issue. The lack of athleticism between Arteta, Flamini, Santi is scary. My God, not one of them's over 5'2". Chris Carpenter looks down on Santi Cazorla. Okay, it's ridiculous. Only just, yeah. But that lack of athleticism. I know it's been mentioned before. Gav says this a lot, but you go back to the Invincibles, Gilberto, Edu, Vieira. These guys are units. Yeah, they're units. And this is the one thing we don't seem to have at the moment.
But them players are not out there, Jace, are they? Where are them players now? They're just not out there.
Schneidling went to United.
Oh, leave off. He's not in the same class as any of them. He couldn't lace their boots, mate, honestly.
Yeah, but not being funny, mate. But he can lace the boots of Mikel Arteta. He can lace the boots of Matthew Flamini. And that's the problem I have.
Vidal's the one for me. That's the one. I know he's got a bit of the old. I know you're not a big fan, Jace, but I just think that you saw what he did at the Emirates, and I just think that a player like that.
He did defend the Emirates. He was.
I don't know, mate.
Bayern didn't go. We got Alonso. We don't need another world-class defensive midfielder this day. They went. There's another one there. We'll have him.
And the one thing about Vidal, okay, guys, undoubtedly a talented footballer. I'm not going to knock him. You can't knock his talent on the football pitch, but he's a bit of a dick, isn't he?
You can tell him.
I'll tell him, no problem.
So are some of our players.
Well, you got to be honest, though. If let's be totally honest. If Bayern Munich come in for you and Arsenal come in for you, and they're offering the same money, what are you going to do? Who are you going to play for?
Arsenal,
but they don't offer the same money. That's the point they made last night. The Premier League pays better wages than Bayern Munich does. Yeah. Most Premier League teams, you'd have got more coming and playing for Stoke than you would for Bayern.
No, I don't buy that.
No, well, they said it. They didn't pick it up, are they? It might have been Hargreaves that said it.
There's more to it than that, isn't there? Look at the money. Look at the bonuses he'll get if Bayern win the Champions League, and he's gonna look at Arsenal and think, can they win the Champions League?
Well,
Probably
we
not.
We could offer them a £50 million bonus each to win the Champions League. Don't mean they're going to get it.
Yeah, but
they pay wages. They pay good wages. Don't worry about that.
And there's a lot in image rights and boot deals get increased because although it's a bit of a myth, this in my opinion, I might be completely wrong. Fifey's probably one to speak for this, but from what I can gather, yes, the Premier League pays the highest wages, but make no mistake about it, these players that play in certain league, there's a reason why certain pros go to the MLS. There's a reason why certain pros choose to play in the Bundesliga or Serie A. There's plenty of income subsidised by other streams of income.
I was going to bring up. I was thinking last night. It suddenly dawned on me again. I might be talking out my arse, but I thought to myself last night. You see this Champions League. I think it's hard. So hard for an English team to go through and win it now because the Premier League, right? Every single game is proper up and at you, kick, bollock and bite, right? Whereas the teams like Bayern in a one-team league this year, right? One team, that's it. There ain't no one else going to win it. They're going to win it by the end of this month, most probably. So and in Spain you've got two teams. In Italy, you've got two teams, really.
One in France, yeah.
Yeah, one in France.
None in Scotland.
No,
or half.
But that's why it's so difficult. And our league programme is always tougher anyway. With regard, we play over Christmas. We don't have no winter break. We're playing and pissing down with snow. We're still playing football. Whereas in these games in these other leagues, they're easier matches overall, and I'm sure that it will keep them fresher for the Champions League games. Am I right or wrong?
You're massively right, because the big teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, know if they've got a tough game on the Wednesday and they're away at a small club, they can put out a half a team because they're going to still pick up 3 points. There's only certain games in the season where they know they have to perform, and even when they do have to perform, their leagues change their games to make sure that they're not.
Friday night, that's right. I've seen it.
The leagues will make sure that it's best for their teams, and you wonder why this country, all our teams are having massive problems. And like you said, you know, it doesn't matter if you're going away to Everton, to Stoke, or Southampton. You're going to get one. They're
the worst games, mate, aren't they? You know what I'm saying to you?
Absolutely.
Let's be fair.
There's no easy games in this league. No easy games in this league.
The Premier League is a money-making organisation. They don't really care, you know, and it's as simple as that.
There is a way around it all, though.
Last
night, we've got to say, our under-19s went to Bayern, drew 1-1.
Yeah.
Benacer scored.
Young Benacer, yeah. Benacer. God's sake, it's Benacer.
If they come to my country, I'll pronounce their names how I bloody want.
I'm not blaming
Gary,
you. Sky was just as bad as you.
I just want to add one thing to your point earlier on, Chris, with regards to image rights and thing deals. Bayern Munich, one of Bayern Munich's shareholders is Adidas.
There you go.
So, you know,
T-Mobile as well, massive, isn't it?
Yeah,
Massive.
Yeah, and then Mercedes-Benz as well, and I'm in the middle of them.
Yeah, they're in there as well. So, you know, when you look at it, there's a lot of extras that go in there. Right, that's Bayern Munich done, guys. You know, there's not much you can say. They were magnificent.
Till next year.
And we got humped.
We won't meet them in the UEFA Cup next year.
Behave. Right, on to a brighter note. This week it was Ian Wright's birthday. Yeah. And let's have some of your favourite Ian Wright moments. Mr. Geoff Arsenal, take us away.
Well, there's been so many, but you know the one that first stuck in my mind when you just said that? I can't stop the image in my mind, him squaring up to Peter Schmeichel, right, after he two-footed him.
Didn't Peter Schmeichel say something rude beforehand?
Yeah, of course, that's right. It was proper vintage Arsenal in them days, because they would have had a tear-up with anybody in them days, you know. And the image of him, you know, 6'4" or 6'5", Peter Schmeichel, and little Wrighty looking up to him as they say, "Come on, and let's have it." You feel I'm worried about you, you know. Fantastic. That's my one. Brilliant.
Superb. Neil.
I kind of got two. One is a goal, because I love goal moments. But my favourite was in '93 when we won 1-0 at White Lane, and he scored in the very last minute, and he ran all the way down the other end of the pitch just to celebrate. No one could catch him. He was out there on his own. He ran towards David Seaman. Just a fantastic night. And the other thing I love about Wrighty was when he broke Cliff Baston's record and he's ripping off his shirt when he's one goal too early.
I was there for that.
Yeah, 178, and he thought he had 179. He had 178. Obviously, he went on.
And he ran along in front of the East Stand.
Yeah, he did, and then
I was there.
He nicked one in at the clock end to actually break the record. But what a character!
Celebrated twice.
What a character!
I got a signed photograph of that. Well, no, it's in a frame. You know, it's like quite a big one.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Nice. Christopher.
Just to touch on his celebrations, we mentioned it before we were recording, but the celebration at Main Road I mentioned with the old knees up, I do love that. But as far as the goal, as a goal and a moment for me, the goal was the chip at Ellen Road. I know a lot of people will remember the goal that he scored against Everton, where I think he did Dave Watson, flicked over his head and rattled it. But the one at Ellen Road for me was the first sort of signs that a link up of like the new Arsenal. I seem to remember Dennis was playing in that game as well, and it was just like it kind of fell to Wrighty on the edge of the box, sort of right hand side, and he just took one glance up before. Just this chip, and it was a proper it was like a golf sand wedge. He properly got his foot right under it and looped. God bless John Lukic, and it just dropped into the far left hand corner. It's just the most perfect little chip, and it showed that he was much more than just a guy who'd pop up with the old goal from 3 or 4 yards. You know, he was a really technically good footballer as well.
Yeah. He scored a wonderful chip away at Yeovil as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, in the FA Cup, wasn't it? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and those two goals you just mentioned, though, the Everton one and the Leeds one, the best thing about it is watching the faces of John Lukic and Neville Southall. They just look completely puzzled. No idea.
And speaking of faces, the only other memory I just suddenly came to me then as we were discussing it. Do you remember a certain interview? And obviously, Wright is quite famous for the gold tooth he's got. And do you remember the interview when they were talking to Sky and they were talking about Arsene Wenger and they said, "Oh, you know, what do you think Arsene's brought to the club and how do you think he's settling in and how's the new regime?" And he just looks straight at the camera and goes, "Who?" and just smiles. And I still remember that interview. And then he does that cheeky little grin and he starts chuckling up to himself. And I thought that's just Wrighty in itself. That's just encapsulates Wrighty in an interview perfectly.
Okay, I'm going to give you mine now because there's two of them, and Danny was at one of them. I think it was against Chelsea, was it? Where he's looped the ball of the defender, looped it again, and then hit it. I can't remember who it was against, but, it was just, the guy had real panache about him at times. He was superb. And the other moment is, and I only read about this, I wasn't there, but him hanging out of the dressing room window at Highbury, arguing with the fans. Danny, I understand you were there.
I was right. He wasn't arguing. He was mooning. I was talked to the Offspring's mum last night, and she was saying that that's the one thing her favourite moment about him, because I said it was his birthday the other day, and she went, "Oh yeah, when we were there, because she was pregnant with our offspring, and my mate Matt was there with us, and we'd just been going down the side of the East Stand, and then all the crowd stop, and there's not many. They usually just go along nice and flow along, and then he'd look up at the window, and I think Tony Adams is there, and I think maybe Merson and Parler and all that. Merson would have been Merson, maybe. Would it be Merson? 98? No, it wasn't 98. Yeah, it was 98. Yeah, the year my child was born. Anyway, so he sticks his arse out the window, doesn't he? I think he's still got his jockstrap on because you can see the white bit. But then everyone was all stopping and all crushing. I nearly died at that point. Luckily, 5 blokes were surrounding me and just shoved everyone out of the way. Went, "You're going to run him. You're going to squash him. Everyone get out of the way." So through 5 blokes are listening, thank you very much. But what an absolute great day that was. But one of my favourite ones was where he celebrated, like Neil was saying, where he celebrated twice because he took the shirt off a little bit too early. But then I was thinking while we were doing this, probably my favourite ever is last game of the season. He was 2 goals behind, 1 goal behind Gary Lineker in the goal scoring charts, and at half time I think we were losing, might have been against Southampton. Gary Lineker had scored for Spurs, and so he was winning in the last game of the season. It was Lineker's last ever game for Spurs, and then Gary Lineker was beating Ian Wright by 2 goals, and I think the first Spurs fans thought it was all over. Second half, Wright comes out, scores a hat-trick, wins the Golden Boot. Goodbye, Lineker. Mr. Wright, you've done it again. I'm sure that was against Southampton at the end of the season. Magical bits like that.
It was Southampton. He took a ball and literally the left back area, David Seaman threw it out to him.
He was determined.
Just went down the left hand side, he cut across the box and just smashed one into the bottom angle in front of the North Bank. Just brilliant.
Do you remember the Oxlade goal as well? It's just come to me. And he absolutely thundered it in from the angle in the Cup Winners' Cup on the route to the 95 final. And he got edge of the box and he just absolutely thrashed it into the top corner. And it was it was just proof that he could score any type of goal. That's what I really remember about Wright. I mean, he's not dead, we should stress. It's not like an obituary.
He's only 52.
But yeah, I mean, he was a striker that could. You look at strikers now and you say, Giroud, he's a target man. Theo, he's all pace. Diego Costa, he's shit. But if you look at strikers now, they've all got one trait. Ian Wright could score any goal at any time, head, foot, right foot, left foot, didn't matter. He would always be in the right place at the right time to score that all important goal.
Absolutely.
I think the one thing, sorry boys, I think the one thing that sums him up when he was at Palace and he'd broken his leg, the tenacity to come back so quickly for that cup final and to grab a goal against United, it's some
changed the game, didn't he, mate, when he come on?
Yeah.
But he was a proper Arsenal man, right? He really, when he come, he really bought into, the Arsenal thing. He really, he endeared himself with the fans and that, and even still now, he does love Arsenal, definitely.
Oh, he does. He's all we.
Yeah.
When you talk to him. The amazing thing is when you listen to people, the ex-players talk about him when we were playing so-called boring football, and they all say that the name of the game was keep it tight, keep the goals out, because all we need is one chance. If you get that one chance, he'll take it.
Right, yeah.
And that's what he was. And you forget how lucky we've been with strikers over the years, with Wrighty and then Thierry, because these were top world-class finishes. And that's I guess maybe that's why people get slightly frustrated with people like Olivier Giroud, because you're being compared to the 2 greatest strikers the club has ever had.
A Wrighty today, what's he worth? 60, 70 million?
Imagine the goals he get. Let's make no mistake about Geoff. You and Danny would be well placed to talk about this better than I would, but Right, he played in some pretty average teams.
He
You
did,
know,
yeah.
he got a lot of goals in games where he had to do all the work himself and carrying a lot of responsibility. You imagine him being fed now by the midfield we've got.
Kris, he's being fed by Giroud's being fed by Ozil and Sanchez. He was getting fed by balls from David Hillier and Ian.
Why does everyone always say Hillier in a derogatory term? Dave's a mate of ours.
Right, I tell you why. Because he will admit it himself that he's no
He's out of his class. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? He's not stupid. I've listened to him, and he's not Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
He'll also tell you that season that Kevin Campbell got 52 goals to the reserves. He set up half of them. If you're listening, Dave, I'm on your side.
We love it. Even a Robert Pires and a Freddie Lundberg and I'd love to have seen Dennis and Wrighty for another couple of years because that partnership.
Oh, they loved a hug.
That was a proper bromance towards the end.
I'm just looking on.
Look at some of the midfield, right? He had to play with. He had the John Jensens of the world, Stefan Schwartz, Ziggy Johnson, maybe.
Leave Stefan Schwartz alone.
Oh, I love Stefan, but he wasn't very creative.
Against Sampdoria was one of the
fights. I love Stefan, and that haircut is still rocked by many a Plymouthian to this day. But I mean, he wasn't the most creative, was he? Let's be honest. David Platt, was another one who was not, at his peak of his powers at the time, was he?
Wrighty was essentially a world-class player playing in an average side. If you put him in this team now, my gosh, would you see some goals? Well, we'd win the league, no question.
Bruce Rioch didn't want him, did he?
There's a reason he loves Jamie Vardy right now, because I think he sees a lot of what he saw in himself when he came through. And he's probably the last great striker to come through, because he started his career at the top level, 24, 25?
Yeah, 24.
Good point, that, Kris.
You'd never get that now, would you?
He left Dulwich Hamlet, didn't he?
Well, let's be fair, Jamie Vardy, a couple of seasons ago, he's in prison, wasn't he? So, we go.
Was he?
Yeah, the lad, don't he? Yeah. All blood and guts. He never gives up. Got fantastic pace.
Yeah.
He scored 2 against us. I know we gifted him one.
I mean, he's no Michu, but,
There you go. Anyway, boys, onwards and upwards.
Okay,
so rumours flying around this week. Rosicky, Flamini and Arteta will not be offered contract extensions in the summer. Some would say, and I would say this, they shouldn't have been offered contract extensions last summer. Who are we going to go out and replace them with? Go nuts, boys. Go nuts.
No one, probably. Iwobi, Kamara and other Geoff. There you go.
Come on, boys.
We could just play some lift music there, couldn't we? Just it's tough, isn't it? Because it's really hard to speculate, because we obviously we don't know who's going to be available this time next summer. What I would say is, if you are going to let those 3 players go, whatever your opinions are of them, we're gonna have to dust off Arsenal's checkbook, I think, because there's got to be players coming in to replace those, particularly when you think that you're letting go essentially of 2 holding midfielders in one foul swoop. Santi's only realistically going to be at the top of his game for another 2 years realistically. You're going to need to reinforce that, and for all his injuries, I adore Thomas Rosicky, and he would be playing now if he was fit. I think he'd be in this team right now, because he's just such a clever, composed footballer, and he always gives you something, and it's tragic that luck that lad's
right at the moment.
He would absolutely do a job anyway, Jace. He'd do a job in goal. He's that good, and it's.
But this is the thing, though, boys. I mean, I love Rosicky. I love Flamini. I like Arteta. I respect him. Do we go out, Geoff, in January and try to preempt it and get somebody in January? What do you think?
Yeah, of course. He's still looking for a central midfield player. He's no doubt about it. But if he, we might promote from within. We've got a couple of good lads that are coming through. But I do think he will. If they're available, he'll go and do it. He'll take the step. He'll buy it. There's no problem in that. He'll spend the money. He's not going to compromise, is he? But I think he'll find solutions.
Can I go all hipster on you, Geoff, and get your thoughts on this?
Yes.
Here we go. I had to slip one in, Jace. If you were going to replace Thomas Rosicky and you were going to look to replace Santi Cazorla in the long run, and let's not forget Mesut's not a young lad. I think that Nabil Fekir is a player Arsene Wenger likes a lot, and I personally think that Leon would take the money if the right money was offered. And if you're looking to replace essentially 3 players in one player, and he's at the right age, he's at the right club for nurturing, the kid is so talented, and I just wonder if the opportunity I don't think he's the sort of player that a Barcelona, a Real Madrid will look at. That's not to slight us in any way, but let's be realistic. We are shopping in a certain level of pool. We're probably tier 2, against the cities and the Bayerns and whatnot. And I just wonder if he is the perfect replacement if you're looking at a player to slip in. But I mean, as far as the other positions go, it's really tough, isn't it? Because we haven't. I wonder how good Bielik will be, but realistically, he's going to be at least 2 years before he's anywhere near knocking on the door. And it does leave us a bit short, doesn't it? I mean, it's a tough one to know, and it's good. Like Geoff says, it's good that the manager's still. He's not stupid. He's still looking. Surely, there's plenty of targets out there. It's finding the right one.
If we do get Fekir, that means Lacazette will be rubbish next season, so we can get him for a song after.
He's
because he's the man who's made
Lacazette.
Maybe even worse. They won't get any.
Yeah.
I think Fekir's the one. He is such an Arsenal player.
Yeah, that's it. He reminds me of Robert Pires when he was at Nets. He's so the way he moves, his trickery. He can play as a centre forward. He can play in either of the wide positions. And everyone was obviously banging the Draxler drum. I mean, Fekir is easily as good, if not better, at the same age.
I think he's better. He's got such soft feet as well. He's a lovely player to watch. And interesting, he's the one that Philippe Auclair talks about.
He is, yeah. That's the other thing that makes me wonder. Yeah.
Okay, boys, I'm going to chuck another name in here now. Kim Kallstrom.
God bless Kimmy K.
Playing in Switzerland.
Is he?
Do you know what? If we were to, I said the other day, I think I said this on the radio show, and a few people mocked me, but I'd be interested in your opinion on this, Jace. If there's an opportunity in January, right, for us to go out and get a Kallstrom-esque player just on loan to the end of the season, would you do that? Because I would.
Yeah. I absolutely
not
would.
with a broken back, I should stress.
No, but simply because if you look at the boy's quality on the ball, I know we didn't get to see it much, but you're talking the Swedish international, 100+ caps. Okay, he's a safe pair of hands. He will do a job. Yeah. You don't need a team full of superstars. You need a team that complements each other. Mm-hmm. And I think if you had somebody a la a young fit Kim Kallstrom last night in that Bayern game alongside Coquelin, all of a sudden you're a bit more solid, you're a bit more disciplined, whereas Santi sometimes, when people press Santi, and again, it's not bashing him, he's a wonderful footballer, but he can lose the ball cheaply. He is what he is, he's not the big lad, Kallstrom's got a bit more about him, that sort of thing. And I think, one of the things that frustrated me during the summer was we're only interested in world class. The pool you're fishing in is far smaller then, but you look at Edu. I thought he was a wonderful player for us. I don't think he's a world-class footballer, but he'd come in and he'd do a great job now and again. And that sort of player, you put him in with, they're not always going to start. They know the Jack Wilshers, the Aaron Ramseys are ahead of them, but they come in and they're solid for you. And
I'd like to see a couple of old heads come in.
Yeah, me too.
Especially in January. I mean, I know he's not going to be available, and it probably sounds a ridiculous call, but I would like to have seen someone like Cambiasso come in.
Yeah, Thiago Motta.
He wanted Champions League football as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just he's a player that's won everything. He's not going to have a wanky haircut either, which is always good. Not going to have a wanky haircut, that's for sure. But he's calm, and he was fantastic when he came to the Emirates with Olympiacos, by the way. Yeah.
I think the key thing is to keep our midfielders fit. I mean, you've got Jack, you've got all them midfielders that are on the sideline at the moment. You've got plenty of midfielders.
But one of the things is, Geoff, the club have invested a lot of money in that side of it, okay? And we still can't keep them fit for one reason or another, okay? We just seem to play that type of game where, Rambo's going 100 mile an hour up and down the park. Jack is inviting the tackles onto him. And let's be fair, okay? The referees don't give us a massive amount of protection. They just don't. We've seen it over the years with Eduardo, with Ramsey, etc. People just turn around and say it's a man's game. Yet, if Jack Wilshere two-footed John Terry, oh fuck, they'd be uproar.
Good to see Eduardo on the score sheet the other night as well.
Yeah. It's nice.
On Arteta, Jace. Your young dragons, the Welsh under-16s. Other night, there's some pictures released where Mikel Arteta was taking a training session for the Wales under-16 side and was clearly in coaching mode. Yes, like you say, it looks to me like his playing side of things will come to an end at the season. But do you think there's a good chance he'll end up as a coach?
Well, I've just had a telegram in, actually, from a Mr. Arteta, and addressed to Jason. It says, Dear Jace, when I make my international debut for Wales this November, 13th of November, he said, are you going to be nice to me now that I'll be a fellow Taff?
No.
That's from Mr. Arteta.
No.
No?
I mean, you know...
'Cause he's not played for Spain yet, has he? He's still free.
Let's be fair, okay, you know. Look at the guy's career, okay? Barca C, Barca B.
PSG, Rangers.
Yeah.
He went to Rangers, okay? Then he went to, what was it, Santander, whatever it was.
That's where he does his banking.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oviedo.
Sociedad,
that's right.
Yeah, Sociedad, yeah.
Then to Everton, okay? You know, the guy was never a Spanish international.
Well, how long do you have to be living in the country before you can play for the country?
3 years.
Well, Gimli's been living in Wales for 3 years.
Yeah, we don't want him.
You just turned down 2 world-class players. You can't be this picky.
We can. We're winning the Euros, pal. Here we go. But my point being, you know, he took it. You know, we went to Everton. He had the chance to come to us. He took it with both hands again, and you know, he was a very good player for us. You know, I got all the respect in the world for him. But he's doing his badges with Wales. I think Henry's done badges. Vieira's done badges with the Welsh coaching setup. It's a very successful little setup there. They've invested a lot in youngsters and coaching talent.
I think he'll make an excellent coach, by the way. I do.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think I think he's got that quality about him where he can make an impact as a coach, and good luck to him. He's been an excellent servant to us. It's just a shame we're flogging a dead horse at the moment. Boys, that's that for that little discussion. Danny, I understand we have some questions, and I understand in particular we have some questions regarding the North London derby.
Oh, is there such talking about them scum? I'm just looking at Lord Sugar tweeted that Harry Kane scored, and then some Arsenal fan tweeted back to him, "Why are all the Spurs fans dressed as seats?" Well, that was genius.
That's quality.
All right, here's one from Nikolai _AFC. He says, "I know there's been so many, but which victory against Spurs is your favourite?" Geoff.
I think we had this before. When we won the league at White Hart Lane.
I think we've done it more than once, though, haven't we?
The second time was just brilliant. You know,
we've won it there more times than they have.
Yeah. I mean, it was a draw that day as well, wasn't it? So we didn't. I can't count it, can I? Really?
Isn't that one we were? Was it 3-3? Something like 2-2.
2-2, wasn't it?
We were leading.
Yeah, we should have belted them as well. Really, it was all over, and we were just a different class that day. But we just gifted them 2 goals. But I can't recall. I don't know. Let me try and think.
Has anyone else got one? Well, Jeff's having a bit of a think.
I think Bergkamp slam one in at Highbury one day.
Oh,
yes,
he's had a few.
He did. Right,
we did. A good one.
Right at the end.
Right, yeah. Righty turned the left back inside out.
Clive Wilson.
That's
Correct,
it.
yeah.
Put it all the way across the other side.
One touch. Oh.
Bergkamp pulled it down on a sixpence, didn't he? And then smashed it in the roof of the net.
I think he sent Andy Sinton outside for a cup of coffee as he brought the ball onto his other foot.
He was round at Parbury Corner, wasn't he?
And then he slammed it past Ian Walker in his lovely hair. Yeah, I remember that. He was in the absolute pissing rain that game. Absolutely so. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was ill as buggery and I had to fight with my dad to let me take over the telly because my sister wanted to watch cartoons. There's a memory for you.
Good God. Get your priorities right.
I was eating tomato soup.
I'm always a fan of the 5-2s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when Adebayor gets sent off.
Who?
You know. Yeah, you know who. Adebayor. There's a hole.
You've gone full Neuer there. Never go full Neuer.
I didn't mention his dad. Sorry, Neil, crack on.
No, I was just going to say that I talking of him, they went 2-0 up at our place. I think Sahar scored, he scored a penalty, and then we went on to score 5, and that was a lovely game.
Anderlecht have just scored, by the way, I hear.
Oh, splendid. Yes, they have.
Yes,
I can confirm that news, yeah.
So,
and let's not forget...
What's your one?
Sorry, I want to...
Go on, Jay.
Sorry, Chris, you first.
I was just going to say, just for the sheer hilarity of it, Laren's probably the worst penalty he'll ever take. Still to this day, it's still brilliant because he ran off celebrating like he won the World Cup, and it's probably the worst penalty you've ever seen in your life.
But it was down the middle of the net.
Yeah, but the pressure he was under, and to make that penalty, and that was a quality goal. Freddie was always good in the derbies as well. I remember him being sent off in a couple, but yeah, Bobby Pires, yeah, absolutely. He loved the derby, didn't he, Bobby?
To be fair, lads, my favourite derbies. The one this season with Matt Flam scoring two.
They weren't expecting that.
Makes you moist.
And they were cracking finishes. That's up there simply because it's Matty Flamini, and I love the guy. But the 1-2 seasons ago where they just gone and spunked £100 million of big money. And apparently we were nothing, and apparently they were overtaking us. And Olivier Giroud,
good goal, that. Yeah, very good goal, that. Don't worry about that.
Superb finish. Matt Flam coming on second half, pointing everywhere, organising the defence. And we saw it out. And they did have us under the cosh a lot of that game. They did. But we showed real bottle and we saw it out. And to watch their faces at the end of it, I love seeing those shit bags upset.
We took a pause there.
Would have to be said as well, although I've disliked the man as much as anyone else. Adebayor's goal in the 98 game, where he flicked it over was it Stephen Carr's head and smashed it past Walker. That was the night where United had gone to Anfield and we really thought we were in for the title that year, and I think that was the Leeds season, if I'm not mistaken. But that was a hell of a goal. In fact, he scored two, didn't he? He did another one at White Hart Lane where he flicked it up from distance as well. I seem to remember there was two, but yeah.
Are you not thinking of Carnu?
I am thinking of Carnu. You're absolutely right. Yes, well corrected. Adebayor's was indeed the 20-yarder at White Hart Lane.
And I think Seth scored. I'm sorry to mention him.
Yeah.
Wonderful goal at White Hart Lane from about 25 yards as well.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. There was Carnu's goal. That was a lovely little goal. And Vieira's in the to clinch the title.
Okay, let's not mention them all.
There's so many, isn't there? Oh,
my one. My one was the 6th of March 1935, beat them 6-0, and Ted Drake got 2, and Cliff Bastin scored 1. Absolutely ruined them.
To be fair, Cliff Bastin and Ted Drake, proper heroes, proper legends.
There you were.
Sorry, Geoff, have you thought of your favourite one yet?
I just told you about my one.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate.
You've got to pull yourself together, you mate. Mind you, you're so far away in Wales and so far behind. I suppose it's only just reached you, mate.
Let's be fair. I am a foreign fan. I am a foreign fan.
Foreigner?
Yeah, I am. That's what I class myself as. Sorry, Carpenter pulled a carpenter on me, so I was all lost at sea. I do apologise.
We've been going 1 hour 36 minutes, so we need to wiggle this on a bit. Right,
crack
next
on.
one from friend of the pod, Paul Swainey, says, why is everybody panicking after last night's result? 2 wins, won by 2 goals, and we're through. Simples. Does everyone agree, Jace?
Yes, Olympiacos have got to go to Bayern. They got humped 3-0 at their gaff. They've got to go there now. Bayern aren't going to take their foot off the gas. They've got to finish top. Olympiacos are in a position, if they beat Bayern or get a draw, they could finish top. So I'm pretty confident of us going through.
Kris, keep it short.
Yeah, much the same as Jace. I'm confident. I think the 2-goal swing is going to be. It's got all the makings of coming down to the last game, and Olympiacos, whilst their coach is definitely good, I think we can outdo them on the day. So yeah, I'm confident we'll get through still.
Okay, Neil.
I totally think that last night was almost an irrelevance, and we will qualify.
Oh, good, Geoff.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. I think I'm going to go out to. Greece. Oh, yeah, Greece. Yeah, I'm going to go out there. I forgot where Olympiacos
Don't go to
was
Turkey, mate. And definitely don't reach
No, I won't go to Turkey, mate. I've been there too many times this year. So, I fancy going out there, and I fancy it'll be a good night for Arsenal.
Yeah, bring your sandals. It could kick off.
We beat them.
Right, this next one from @TellTheGooner, who's always a grumpy follow. How much longer will Alexis and Ozil stick around after our latest annual Champions League embarrassment, Jace?
To be fair, they were part of that embarrassment, so I think it's down to them and down to the team to get on with it. I'm sorry, Tell, but each time people kind of say, "Oh, how long are they going to stick around?" They're part of the bloody team. Okay,
steady.
No.
Be nice.
They took a humping last night, the same as everybody else. Okay, they've come here. They're professional footballers. They seem to be enjoying themselves a lot of the time. I think we've got really good team spirit here, but each time it's, they're going to leave us. Well, you know what? If they don't want to be at the Arsenal, goodbye. Ta-da. I don't want them at the Arsenal. It's like that Snake Sesk, okay? He goes on strike and, he feigns injury and what have you. And people still say, I want him back. No, I don't want him back. Sling your hook.
Neil, can you top that?
You can never top a Jace rant, can you? but in fairness, they were part of that team. You can't really argue with that. You don't see. Was it last year that Madrid humped Bayern 4-0 in their own stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they weren't all leaving or crying out to. These things happen in football, and we could easily go on, beat Zagreb, qualify by beating Olympiacos. And who knows how far you can go? It's not a knockout tournament just yet.
Oh, good. Yes, so maybe. Geoff?
Stupid question. I'd kindly refrain from answering it because I will insult the chap. Move on.
Kris?
I can't add any more than what the lads have said. Fair play for asking the question, but no, I can't really add anything.
He's a good boy, but he's
he's a cheeky monkey.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, next one from Keith. Right, one word answer, yes or no. Can Remy Gard possibly be Wenger's successor, Geoff?
Nope.
Neil?
No.
Oh, Kris?
Yes.
Of course you'd say that, you.
Well, you asked the question. Do you want me to not answer it?
I don't know.
The caveat is it depends how he does at Villa. That's all I'll say.
Well, obviously, if he wins the Champions League 5 years in a row, we'll have him.
Anything can happen, can't it?
Yeah. Jace might end up manager. You never know.
Hey.
Tell you what, boys, you wouldn't see any insipid performances then.
Because they'd all be dead.
I'll tell you what, mate, the way you're carrying on, Kris, you'll be in the frame yourself, eh? The way you're going.
Where are you, third in the league?
One game at a time, Geoff.
Either Arsenal are after him.
Telling you.
It's either the Arsenal going to be after him or Arsenal Fan TV to replace Bully. That's all I'm saying.
Jace, they couldn't afford me, mate.
He's a real pirate. No, he ain't one of these Schneid one, the plastic pirates.
I know where the shower is and all.
I'm different.
Okay, right. This one from Carl, who is at _London_guy, who was on the radio show again last night, was very good. If you had to have one star URS, good, he hasn't spelt the word, then N17 scum. If you had to have one of their players in the Arsenal squad, which one would you take? Ooh, right. Put your hand up if you want to go.
Pat Jennings.
He's a bit old now, Jace.
I don't want any of the ones they got though.
Anyone got an answer for that?
Tough one. That I'm trying to think. The players they've got, they're all rubbish, aren't they? So
I tell you what I like.
Do they get on our bench, really? Seriously.
No. You say Andros Townsend, I'm leaving now.
No. Bentaleb. I think Bentaleb's a decent player.
Nah.
And he's a youngster. I think he's decent.
He's all right. Not too bad. He ain't better than Coquelin, though.
The only one you'd probably take is Christian Eriksen.
No, you won't go.
Oh, I know.
I wouldn't. I know Simon's a big fan. Simon, our blogger, and Neil, you are, but
good player, but they ain't good. Yeah, not really. Not for me.
Do you know? I would take, but only...
If you say Lamella, that's my answer.
Hold up, Gareth Bale.
Yeah, 3 years ago, maybe.
You might take Harry Kane. Thinking about it.
Harry Kane.
You might just take Harry Kane. He does get a goal.
The only player I would take.
He's one of our own.
The only player I would take of their current breed, but we don't need him now. But the only player I would have taken would have been Loris.
Yes.
But now, it's irrelevant now. But if we didn't get Czech, then.
But isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? You can have this conversation, and you're struggling to find one.
Oh yeah, look at their squad. Just look, I've got it in front of me. It's a team of utter dirge. I mean,
no, because you could sit there, and look at the Man City squad, and you can have a proper debate about who you're going to take because there's massive argument over 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And if Spurs fans were talking about who would they take from the Arsenal side, they'd have the same problem. They wouldn't be able to come to one conclusion because there'd be so many.
Sorry, boys, I've got it. I'd take Ryan Mason.
Why?
Did you really?
We need somebody to carry the water.
That's a good point. Yeah. Perhaps we get Daniel Levy in. He'd be no, maybe not.
If anybody listening does,
so I was going to say I thought Jace would have taken Ben Davis.
Yeah. He's one for the future. That Fazio.
God, Geoff, please.
Jesus. To be fair, Ben Dave's a decent player, but he doesn't get enough score, does he?
He's been
Or we
tainted.
could have Michael Vaughan and he could go pick the ball out from row Z every time Santi has a shot. Or if anybody was, a little tip here for you, if anybody does want Harry Kane, just get a big white transit, write pedo sweets, 3 lollies and bears, and he'll get straight in the back of it. He's all yours.
Lollies.
Off a cliff.
Right.
Move on.
One from Dimitri, who is at, this is DIMA. Do you agree rushing Bellerin may backfire and then the manager should let Debuchy play into form? Or I think that's a good idea. I think Debuchy showed at the end of last night's match that he had that sliding tackle.
Yeah.
I think that said, I'm still a fan of Debuchy. Jace?
Yeah, but this is the thing. Everybody keeps on saying we're rushing players back. You don't know that. Nobody knows that.
Does.
Exactly.
Dom don't know it, and he knows everything.
This is the thing. That medical team, the setup there, they spend millions of pounds on it. Okay, these are the best in the business. They know what they're doing with these players. Okay, I just don't see the thing of this. Everybody claiming we're rushing players back. Sometimes you get people with agendas. Sometimes you get people who
Did you say other genders?
agendas.
Oh, right, okay.
The genders. What we're talking about, Emmanuel Aberdeen?
Back to Harry Kane again.
Yeah, sorry. I couldn't say it a bit. In any case, but you know what I mean? You get people who don't understand exactly how much money they put into this. And people assume. And that's not how they work. There's a genuine knowledge about what's happening, or for argument's sake, in the case of Aaron Ramsey, they know there's an issue, they can't identify it. They're spending a ton of money on it, but sometimes it takes a bit of time. But they're not going to rush him back. They'll play him when he's ready.
He's got 20 people working for him, Wenger.
Jesus,
20 people. They're all experts in their field. So what the fuck do we know?
Exactly. Sweary Geoff is laying down the law.
Well, I'm only saying.
And in the
No, you're
meantime,
right.
until Hector Bellerin is fit, for God's sake, get behind Debuchy. I mean, it's
Exactly.
this. People are talking like this is some bloke that we picked off of bloody Cheltenham Athletic, or they don't even exist anymore. But you know what I mean? It's like we pulled him off a building site and shoved him in at right back. This is a quality French international right back who's never been the same since a Stoke player basically assaulted him on a football pitch, and is a player that needs games to get up to speed, and he's going to have the odd bad game, but. Newsflash: Aaron Ramsey was having some terrible games, and look where he's gone. Alexis Sanchez hasn't had the best of games recently, and he's still, he hasn't been good this season. You can't hide from that. Even I can't. I'm always behind players.
When he joined,
he was
magnificent.
Absolutely, and a cult hero, Jace. People were, he had the funky hair and the tattoos, and everybody loved him and thought he was fantastic. And you know what? Massive credit to Hector Bellerin for taking him out of that position, because he's worked so hard, the lad, to get in front of him. And Debuchy is a player that he might get a run of games now. We don't know, as you rightly said, Jace, we don't know how bad or not this injury is to Hector, and we need all our players firing all cylinders now. And if Debuchy's going to play, then good.
It wasn't long ago that they were saying exactly the same thing about Nacho Monreal.
Absolutely, Geoff. Yep, said that last night. 100% agree. And now he's probably one of the best left backs in Europe.
I'll move on to the next question. Has everyone had a go?
Yep.
Lovely. Right, because I was just reading about Callum Davenport, wondering whatever happened to him. Right, from Rob Parrott, Rob_PARITT. So, if you can answer this with one word without swearing. So, are we up for a run in the Europa League if we don't get out of our Champions League group? No. Chase?
We're going to get through. We'll be in the Champions League knockout stages, that's it.
Will we?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Chris?
If we end up in Europa League, then yeah, why not?
Chimp?
I think if we end up in it, which we won't, I still would. We're the only country that doesn't take it seriously.
Oh, so would people rather be third or fourth? That should be the question as well. Jace?
What do you mean third or fourth?
If we don't make second, what would you have, third or fourth?
I'd want to compete in the Europa League.
Chris?
Yep, 100% agree.
Neil, same thing?
Absolutely.
Jeff, both answers?
We're going to be in the Champions League, mate. That's it.
Right, yeah.
God, you're all bloody deluded. Right, I think we're going to finish third. But I want us to finish 4th. But again, that's enough of that.
Right.
I'll only get bullied again.
Okay, guys, that's a wrap. We're looking forward to the North London derby this weekend. Come on, Gooners. Let's have some shout-outs. We're going to start with our proper debutante.
And we've got a little bit of news as well about somebody's return to the ABW fold, haven't we?
Yeah. We'll give that at the end.
Okay.
Shh.
Oh,
Neil.
I'm not going to break the news. I'm going to leave that to you. My shout out will be for Mr. Barcelona, Tim. He's
Mr. Hardwick.
Absolutely. What a
great
person! Great
Don't
person
forget
to follow on Twitter.
Say his brother as well, so he doesn't feel left out.
Simon,
both brothers, both very lovely brothers.
Boo, Tottenham won.
Oh, they just scored. There they go. Shame.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're top lads. Christopher.
Mine's kind of one in-house as well. I'm going to give it to Mr. Tom Canton, who's at TCanton94. He's off to the North London derby on Sunday, so just wishing him a safe trip from Nottingham, and hopefully he comes back with the points for us.
Nice. Mr. G.
Chap called LTD Syndicate, top Arsenal fan, always got good opinions on Arsenal. Get following him. He's a good lad.
Excellent. I'm going to go for you, Danny. I got 2 this week. My first is to Roy Keane for laying down the law on Ashley Young diving scum. I think it was brilliant what he said. About time. Shame he didn't say that about Van Nistelrooy when he played alongside him. And the other one is to an ex-member of the ABW team, at Lord Hillwood.
He's just tweeted about you.
Brilliant.
He's the mad ad man.
I miss Lordy, you know.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, we did ask him if he'd want to come back on sometime. I think he said he might do or might not. I can't remember.
I've got to be honest with you, when I started listening to this podcast, he was my favourite. And
you don't fuck around, does he? He makes you look polite and fifth-faffle.
Oh, I tell you what, the guy's a legend. And he must have taken some stick off the plastic poles with Lewandowski today. He was
the Polish Andy Cole.
Yeah, he was going to get it in work. So, Stevie boy, still thinking of you, still miss you. Danny.
Mine, I'm going to give 1,000,000 shout-outs. Everyone who went on the mask march, stick it to them, but be nice to the policemen because they've been fucked over by the government as well. There you go, a little bit political. Got a bit of Ben Elton there.
Sweet. Danny, who's coming back?
Yes.
Who's coming back?
Some bloke who's... Some bloke called Other Jeff. Is it you, Geoff?
Oh, the other Jeff.
Oh, the other Geoff.
Thank God
He's
for that.
back.
Canadian Bacon Jeff.
So we're going to bring a bit more quality into the squad, thank God.
I tell you, he knows what it's all about.
I tell you what, boys. It's like bringing Thierry Henry back, but younger and better.
Hey, listen, that's what I was going to say to you. What's going on with this Gimli character? Is he still alive or what?
Funny enough, okay, he was last seen...
He's now Mrs. Gimli. He's had an operation.
Is he pregnant or something?
He was last seen receiving a reach around for giving people tours of the Emirates Stadium.
Best tenner he ever got, though.
Yeah. He doesn't deal in cash, reach arounds only. But we hear he may be on the bus back. He may be back next week.
I bet he's down amongst all them marshals today, them 1,000,000-man maskers.
Yes, he's doing a right old trade.
Him and Kate, God bless her. Huh?
All I'm going to say is he's recently been to a South American country, and they gave him a thorough searching on the way back. But yeah, he was on holiday for a little while, and then this week he can't even have some of the old marijuana because he's not been very well.
If he
so
comes
he's
out
back
of
next
Wales, I
week.
swear to God, they won't let him back in again.
He swims like a fish.
There's signs up everywhere saying one dead.
Is he coming back though or not?
Yeah, he's coming back
next week.
There's signs in Wales saying one dead or
Has he got a hamstring or something? What? How long is it?
Everybody's crossed out alive.
Is it one of them? Oh, he'll be back in 3 weeks when he comes back in 3 months.
That's it.
He's got a little bit niggle. That's the rumour.
Oh dear. So yeah, Geoff has come back to give Kate a hand because Kate's doing a very good job. I only taught her to do it all once and she had it done perfectly, but they're just organising stuff and getting everything back together again. And yeah, so he's back. So you might even see him on a podcast again, or maybe a radio show, or maybe both.
I tried to get him on this week, but he's busy. So,
did he? He's too busy throwing up at the moment, isn't he? He's been ill. Yeah. Poorly boy.
Yes. He's in bed playing FIFA, isn't he?
We have no idea what that's all about.
And we haven't forgotten Mr. Shredder as well, who's another forgotten man of this parish. He's a very
busy man.
Very busy man, but he will be returning soon.
He's
Okay,
does some work for
boys.
an NASL team,
Boys.
so he's been busy sorting that out.
has.
But it's nearly free.
Enough of the loving. Right,
Oh,
that's a wrap.
it
Okay,
is.
guys, thank you ever so much for turning up.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you
again
to everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. It's the North London Derby on the weekend. Let's have them. Let's have the scum.
We've got to do predictions.
Yeah.
I'll WhatsApp you if you want.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
do it now. Do it now, G.
Yeah? Okay.
2-0 Giroud.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Well, have you noticed? I don't think I've been picking Giroud lately. It's cost me dearly, isn't it?
Yes, I've been reaping the rewards of Olivier Giroud recently. Neil.
I'm going to say 3-0, and you're going to like this one, Jace. Santi Cazorla.
It better be a penalty, then, doesn't it? You know. Kris.
3-1 Mesut Ozil.
Danny.
4-1 Debuchy.
Well, that would be a story.
Get in
I'd
here,
love
you
to see
beauty.
that, mate. I would love
So
to
would
see
I.
that.
Imagine the celebration. Have that, the haters.
Debuchy, Giroud, Cazorla for Jason.
Whoa.
Hey.
Nothing to do with me.
That's never going to happen.
I tell you what, I am going to.
He's not playing the ladies' team.
I'm up in the ante here. I'm up in the ante.
Oh.
5-2.
Oh, he's gone big.
Check.
Alexis Sanchez.
Oh, you've gone mad then, gone safe.
That will do for me.
The last time I said we score 5, I was told it was mad. And what do? We score 5. So all I'm saying, boys. Right, that's a wrap. Thank you ever so much for listening. Keep it Arsenal. Let's have them. Good night.
Nanu, tiny bastards. Yeah, are you recording, Jace?
I am recording now. Do me a favour.
Let me
give me a time check after an hour.
Yeah, well, if we start at exactly 8 o'clock, which is 4 minutes, and then that's easy for everyone to remember.
That's why the radio didn't go live when you were badgering me last night, Danny. I was waiting until it hit 10.
Piss off, were you?
No, I
You were
was,
busy
seriously. I have
fucking
John.
organising your tins or something.
You cheat. Says you.
Yeah, my tins are already organised. I don't need organising.
Silly of me.
I tell you what, this is a recipe for disaster. My notes go like this: Swansea, pair, tough first half, 3 goals, Campbell, Bayern, humping.
Be war and
Lack of
peace if Chris is
pressing.
writing notes.
Let's just have a chat and you'll all be
Yeah.
jovial about it, and it'll be a lot. Just fuck about, won't we?
To be honest with you, lads, let's be fucking fair, okay? If somebody offered you 3 points out of 6 against Bayern, you'd bite their arm off.
Yeah.
You
Of
know?
course you would.
I mean, okay, it's not
And if they offered you 3 on
Jeez.
Sunday or 3 last night, I know which one I'd take.
Definitely. No brainer.
Well, no, in Carpenter, it'd be 3 against Bayern.
Who am I blessing? Bless you.
Oh, I'm allergic to fireworks, I
You
think.
trying to fucking kill my positivity last night, Danny, you miserable git.
Are you annoying me?
I was just trying to be positive, rather than being all bloody, oh, the world's going to end, burn the stadium down,
Yes.
fire all the people.
That's it.
Not being funny, boys. Where were all these people when we beat Bayern? You know,
Yeah.
I'm fucking bored of it. I'm so fucking bored of it. It's unbelievable.
Try not to call them cunts, though.
Why?
Because you're meant to be in charge, and if you start it, then Geoff will go off on another fucking potty-mouthed rant, and we'll all
I
be fucked.
don't. How dare you? I can't believe you said that. I never coat anybody. I'm going to one night, and you watch me
The
go.
number of
man, I'm telling you.
haters that you have, Geoff, all you have to do is say to people on Twitter, have I ever used any foul language in any of my tweets? And I'll tell you, within a minute, you'll have 20,000 people retweeting all your potty-mouth nonsense. Someone
Really?
pointed it out, and I went and had a look, and I went, I can't believe Geoff's just called someone a cunt, or told them to fuck off. It was one of those
I
two.
can't remember that. I cannot remember that. I
Sure.
think I've got Tourette's anyway.
Sure, it was deserved.
Oh, we didn't disagree with you, we're just shocked.
You know, so if I call someone a cunt, they must be a cunt.
You went full
Honestly.
Gimli on them.
Never go full Gimli.
Jesus. To be honest with you, boys, call them it and be damned. Screw it.
Alright, so it's 58. Where's the...
Oh, let's just rock, is it?
Yeah, just get
We know we
going.
are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
Muting now.
And the fireworks have stopped at 8 o'clock. Tidy.
Lovely. Okay. Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. Tonight I'll be your host. I'm Jason. Hello, how are you all? And with me tonight, oh, fuck that. Sorry, I got tongue-tied.
It's because you were busy shaking your testicles into place to get comfy.
I was, actually. I was bad start, boys. Right up.